In 2008, a new concept of governance emerged in Barbados through the establishment of Constituency Councils. Armed with the mandate of increasing the effectiveness of social development programs, council members attempt to respond to the particular needs of each constituency and to give representation to all categories of residents, particularly the most vulnerable, irrespective of class, color, or creed.
I think if we're honest about the way Barbadian society has developed, I think we could all agree, to be honest, that some people have benefited and some haven't. To the extent that we have people who aren't benefiting fully, we felt there was a need to develop a system that would allow people to be able to maximize the returns of living in a society like Barbados. And I think originally that's where the idea came from. In development in general, though, there is a tendency for there to be a distorted development. Some people have, and some don't. And that normally manifests itself in a way through crime. People become averse to taking chances. And we felt, you can't have a society where some people are not involved in the decision-making processes. And I think this is the whole idea behind the councils, to bring everybody into the loop and to be involved in the decision-making processes that govern their lives.
The Constituency Council Act of 2009 is very clear about the functions of the councils.
Some people have said that they were duplicating other services, but the reality is that that's what they were created in a sense to do. Not to duplicate the service necessarily, but to find persons who have not benefited from the services that are currently existing and to bring those services to the people. The Constituency Council program has to be built on trust. One of the fundamental tenets of trust in any relationship is the way you spend and account for finances. Certainly in government, we've made sure that the councils account for every single cent that they spend. There cannot be any spending without accounting for it. In fact, a council can only get funds replenished if they have accounted for the funds that they have already spent. Originally, we were going to give each council $100,000 a year. Now the councils only receive $70,000 or so a year. The government has been making cutbacks throughout the service. That translates to less than $6,000 a month. It really is not a lot of money. Imagine spending $6,000 on an entire constituency. It really is not a lot of money. But the constituency councils, they decide how they're going to spend that money without the intervention of my office. Once a decision is made by the council, they discuss whatever the issue is, but once they make a decision, then they themselves sign the check, and then they do the spending, and they try to make sure that it's implemented. If it is a project that they can do on their own, then they go ahead and they do it. If it is something that is larger than they are, then they make a referral to another government agency or to a private sector firm. Or the councils are free to partner with other people, NGOs, CBOs, again, the private sector, and so on. But the councils basically operate quite autonomously within the various communities in which they are located.
There is a council for each of the 30 constituencies, and each council is allocated 15 members.
The Constituency Council regulations provide for a method for choosing council members. But ultimately, the decision remains with the minister. The minister selects who serves on a constituency council. But there is a whole committee in place that makes recommendations to the minister. It is made up of the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Social Care, myself, the Chief Community Development Officer, and we look through a range of applications. We look at the certain skills, we try to balance the gender, we try to balance age, and make sure that we have an offering to the public in terms of skill sets, in terms of range of age and attitudes. And then the minister would go through this list and take that list to cabinet, and cabinet either approves or will not approve the recommendations that we make. So they're only in for 2 years, and then they can serve another 2 years, and then it's a time for a whole new set of people to serve on the Constituency Council. So the idea is to keep, repopulating the councils with new people, new ideas, new blood, and so on.
So far, several projects have been carried out by the constituency councils which have met with success.
And some of the programs that we've done that I'm very proud of, and there have been many, relate to the work with the elderly. Christchurch South, for example, did an amazing program with the elderly, and we did it at Foundation School. When we made the call, I wasn't sure, to be honest with you, that the response would have been as massive as it was. We actually literally filled Christchurch Foundation School, and that tells me that we need to find more programs for our elderly during the day.
We are now embarking on trying to reach the vulnerable in the constituency. So we are prepared to do some training with the guys on the block and have them take the survey to the different areas within the constituency.
One that we thought was really important, one of our flagship ones, was that we did a primary school textbook loan scheme. What we recognized is that it was happening in secondary schools, but there were a lot of parents in our constituency who weren't able to afford the books. So we met with the principals from the various primary schools in the constituency and was able to bring that program on stream. Then I had a chat as chairman with some of the business owners in the cruise terminal, where they're expressing that there was losing a lot of business because the Victory that goes there on Wednesday, the majority of the passengers are from Puerto Rico, and they were finding difficulties where there were the language barrier. So we were doing now at our council is starting this language program, and we're beginning with Spanish. It's not going to be a course like for CXC. It's actually conversation Spanish, and it's going to be 30 hours. 30 hours. After 30 hours, you get the certification. Basically, we have sourced a former teacher that was well known in the languages that lives in the constituency, who's going to be carrying out the different lectures weekly.
They're also doing a dance project, and amazingly, if you were to drive through that community, the Bonnets area where the council is located, during the times that those young people are involved in council activities, you're going to find no young people on the street.
The best thing about dance class is when we come in here and have fun and start dancing with one another.
This dance program, being offered through the Christchurch West Constituency Council, provides the perfect opportunity for a positive and fun activity for young members of the community.
They talk about the young people and not having a lot of positive things to do, but there is positive stuff for them to do, and dance is one, and it helps to build their self-confidence and their motivation.
How do you measure that in terms of the success of your program?
I like to take it to the next level and get a dance career.
To me, those are some of the most invaluable ways with which we have to analyze the councils. I mean, you're taking young people off the street, and we will continue to be involved in those kind of programs.
Well, I'm very passionate about my work because, like these kids, I come from a community as well, and you know the norm was you come from a community, they have broken homes and stuff, and there's nothing good to become of you. But I am living proof that that's not really what it is. So these kids here have an opportunity to develop themselves and go further in life. But I think I did pretty well considering.
And to my mind, it brings about a positive feeling for them. So I think that this is a good program that we put in place, and I would like to see it continue throughout the constituency so that more young people can get involved with it. And we are hoping that at this session, as you know, they have a dance program that's going on, and we're hoping that we can get a group into that competition later on this year.
The dance class is good, it's fun, energizing, and I love it, and I would like all of us to be in that fest one of these days, dancing in front of the whole crowd.
Despite the projects that have already been carried out, there are still other areas of development that are envisaged for the constituency councils.
I think we need to do more. I think the public wants us to do more as well. What we have done in the last few weeks is spend a lot of time meeting with the constituency councils, working on new and fresh programs and new and fresh projects.
During our tenure, we have seen an improvement in the way the community spirit is coming back. You know, they have the football competitions, and we keep a fan there in November. And usually, because of the nature of the constituency, you'll find a lot of blocks. We will try to nullify and get the players getting along with each other through sports. So we have a very successful hardcourt football tournament, and they look forward to it. I mean, they actually want us to do it every bank holiday. We just do it on Independence Day.
With the creation of programs specifically designed to encourage entrepreneurship, constituency councils are working steadily on improving the livelihood of local residents.
In the constituency councils now, one of the programs that you will see implemented over the next few weeks, months, and years is massive work as it relates to developing entrepreneurial activity. It has to be the response, not because it's the response the government wants, because it is the response that we clearly saw emanating from the calc study. People want to be entrepreneurs, and the councils will respond to that.
One such program which affords participants the necessary skills for starting their very own businesses is wig making.
My work so far is good. Anything we can't understand, we just ask Sandy, she explain it to us.
Shirley explains some of the techniques of making wigs.
Start the wig by putting on the cap, the shower cap, the wig cap, how to cut the hair, razor cut the hair, different styles, all of that. It will benefit me a lot because I wear lots of wigs. So it'd be a good opportunity to make my own and to make for others too.
Regardless of where you reside in Barbados, you have a right to visit your constituency council and to ask either for assistance or to bring an idea or some innovation or anything of that sort, or simply to just come and to be a part of the process and to volunteer. Every year, twice a year, the councils will meet and say, these are the plans that we have. But those meetings are not just for the councils to tell the public what they're doing. It is also an opportunity for the councils to hear from the public what they want to be done. So I would encourage Barbadians to come out to those meetings, just generally to get involved in the work of the constituency councils, but more importantly, to get involved in the work of their communities.
Why not give of your time and skill and join in the work of the constituency councils? After all, they could always use more volunteers.
Every time a constituency council needs members, we place ads in the newspapers, we place ads on television as well. But people do not have to wait until those ads are seen. At any point in time, you could make a recommendation to serve on a constituency council, either yourself or you could recommend somebody who's interested.
Any organization that is built to grow and last will put long-term goals into place. The constituency councils are certainly no different.
The Constituency Empowerment Program, in its final form, will have 3 parts. It will be the Department of Constituency Empowerment, which I have the privilege to head, the Constituency Councils, all 30, and then lastly, there are going to be Constituency Empowerment Centers. We're not there yet. That's our dream state, whereby you can go to one community and get all your needs addressed. You'd go there in a constituency, and instead of having to go to the post office or to leave and go to welfare or to leave and go some other place, you can have all of your needs addressed. When I think about the Constituency Council program, ironically, I don't think about the constituency councils, you know. When I think about the Constituency Council program, I think about the work that the councils are supposed to do. It's like, I imagine a doctor doesn't sit down and think about the scalpel. You know, he thinks about the patient. I don't think about the councils. They're just an instrument. I think about the work of the councils, the communities. And so I imagine in the long term, we have to find a way to bring our communities back together.
As the constituency councils of Barbados continue to address concerns of diverse residents in all 30 constituencies, it is hoped that they will find practical solutions to the dilemmas of social isolation and economic deprivation.